In the shadowy underbelly of Abuja's elite enclaves, where the hum of luxury cars whispered secrets to the night, a single envelope arrived at the doorstep of a modest journalist's apartment. It was unmarked, save for a faint embossment of a golden eagle, and inside lay a cryptic note. The richest man in Nigeria hides in plain sight, his fortune untethered to his name. Uncover him, and the world changes. That envelope wasn't just paper, it was a Pandora's box that would unravel lives, expose betrayals, and ignite a fire of ambition and heartbreak. Little did the journalist know, this was the hook that would drag her into a web of unimaginable wealth and hidden sorrow. Hey there, reader. Before we dive deeper into this epic folktale of mystery and fortune, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. It's free and it'll keep you locked into more thrilling stories like this. And drop a comment below. Where are you watching or reading from? Is it the bustling? Is it the streets of New York, the serene beaches of Cape Town, or right here in the heart of Africa? Let's connect. In the modern sprawl of Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, where glass skyscrapers pierce the sky like ambitious dreams, lived a man named Eze Chukwu. Eze wasn't your typical billionaire. No flashy yachts, no tabloid scandals, no name etched on deeds or company boards. He was the ghost in the machine of wealth, a folk hero whispered about in the markets of Woods and the high rises of Maitama. Legend said he owned half the city, from the opulent hotels along Airport Road to the vast farmlands feeding the nation, but his name appeared nowhere. Properties were held in trust, companies in anonymous shells, fortunes funneled through layers of secrecy thicker than the Harmattan fog. Eze had started as a humble trader in the dusty streets of Enugu decades ago, selling fabrics door to door. But a chance encounter with a forgotten oil baron changed everything. The old man, on his deathbed, revealed a map to untapped resources, not just oil, but networks of influence that spanned continents. Eze learned the art of invisibility, built empires without fingerprints. By his 40s, he was worth billions, yet he lived in a simple three-bedroom bungalow in Garki, driving a battered Toyota that blended into the traffic like a chameleon. Our story truly begins with Ada Obi, a sharp-witted journalist for the Daily Vanguard. Ada was in her late 20s, with eyes that sparkled like the Niger River under moonlight, and a determination forged from losing her parents in a tragic road accident. She received that envelope one rainy evening, the kind where thunder rolled like ancestral drums. Inside, besides the note, was a faded photograph of a man at a charity event, his face half-shadowed but unmistakable, Eze Chukwu. Ada's heart raced. This could be her big break, the story that catapulted her from cub reporter to legend. But as she delved in, emotions swelled, excitement mixed with fear. What if this billionaire's secrecy hid darker truths? Little did she know, Eze's fortune wasn't just money. It was a curse, born from a pact with fate that demanded solitude. As Ada sipped her evening tea, staring at the photo, she felt a pull, like the gravitational force of destiny. She whispered to herself, "Who are you, Eze, and why hide?" Eze Chukwu's early life was a tapestry of hardship and hidden potential, woven in the vibrant yet unforgiving fabric of Nigerian society. Born in a small village near Onitsha, he was the son of a fisherman named Obi Chukwu and a market woman called Neka. They named him Eze, meaning king, hoping it would prophesy greatness, but life had other plans. At age 10, a devastating flood swept away their home, leaving Eze orphaned and wandering the streets of Lagos. No, wait, Abuja wasn't his starting point. He migrated north to the emerging capital, where opportunities bloomed like baobab flowers after rain. In those days, Abuja was still transforming from a planned city into a hub of power. Eze hustled as a shoeshine boy outside the National Assembly, eavesdropping on politicians' conversations. One day, he overheard a senator discussing a land deal gone sour. With quick wits, Eze suggested a workaround, using anonymous trust to shield ownership. The senator, impressed, rewarded him with a small sum and a job as an errand boy. That was the seed. Years passed, and Eze climbed. He married a kind woman named Kioma, a teacher from Kaduna, and they had two children, a son, Kelechi, and a daughter, Ifeoma. But tragedy struck again. Kioma died in childbirth with their third, a stillborn. Eze's heart shattered like fragile pottery. In his grief, he vowed never to let wealth define him publicly, fearing it would attract the same curses that took his family. He poured his soul into building anonymously, funding orphanages under fake names, buying hospitals through proxies, even influencing policies without a trace. Back to Ada, she began her investigation by visiting Eze's supposed neighborhood. Knocking on doors, she met neighbors who spoke of him fondly. Eze? Oh, he's just a quiet man. Helps with groceries sometimes. But one old woman, Mama Ngozi, pulled her aside. Child, that man is richer than the gods, but his wealth is a lonely throne. Beware the shadows it casts. Ada's emotions churned. Pity for Eze's loss, intrigue at his secrecy. She felt a dramatic pull, as if her own orphaned past mirrored his. Entertaining tales from informants painted Ace as a modern Robin Hood, donating millions to flood victims, yet never claiming credit. Realistic? Absolutely. In Nigeria's complex economy, where corruption and philanthropy danced a tango, such figures existed. As the sun set over the Aso Rock, Ada vowed to uncover more. But unknown to her, Eze had eyes everywhere. He knew she was coming. Hey, if this tale of hidden fortunes and heartfelt drama is gripping you, smash that subscribe button now. It helps us bring more stories like this to life. And tell me in the comments, where are you tuning in from? Lagos, London, or Los Angeles? Let's make this global. Ada's pursuit led her to a charity gala at the Transcorp Hilton, where whispers hinted Eze might appear. Dressed in a simple Ankara gown that hugged her figure like a second skin, she blended into the crowd of suited tycoons and glamorous socialites. The air was thick with perfume and ambition, laughter echoing off crystal chandeliers. But Ada's heart pounded with anticipation and a touch of fear. What if this man was dangerous? Suddenly, there he was. Eze Chukwu, standing alone by the buffet, his salt and pepper hair neatly trimmed, wearing a modest kaftan that screamed understatement. He looked ordinary, yet his eyes held the depth of ancient rivers. Ada approached, her voice trembling slightly. Mr. Chukwu, I'm Ada Obi from the Daily Vanguard. I have questions about your properties. Eze turned, his gaze piercing yet kind. Properties? Young lady, I own nothing but my peace. But there was a flicker, a dramatic pause where emotions flashed, surprise, amusement, perhaps sorrow. They talked for hours, Eze sharing folktales from his village, stories of spirits who hoarded treasures only to lose their souls. Wealth without name is freedom, he said, his voice emotional, cracking like dry earth, but it's also a prison. Ada felt entertained by his wit, realistic in his tales of Nigerian bureaucracy, where names on papers invited envy and theft. Yet drama brewed. Eze's son Kelechi, a hot-headed lawyer, overheard and confronted her later. Stay away from my father. His secrecy keeps us safe from vultures like you. That night, Ada dreamed of hidden vaults and lost loves, her heart aching for Eze's isolation. The story was no longer just a scoop, it was personal. To expand this epic, let's delve deeper into Eze's daily life. He woke at dawn in his bungalow, brewing strong coffee from local beans. His routine was meticulous, reviewing anonymous investments via encrypted apps, funding scholarships for underprivileged kids. One such beneficiary was Tunde Adebayo, a brilliant student from the slums of Mararaba, who Eze mentored without revealing his wealth. Tunde's story intertwined. He discovered Isse's secret by accident, leading to a subplot of loyalty and betrayal. Meanwhile, Ada's editor, Mr. Bello, pressured her for the story. Make it juicy, Ada. Nigerians love a good mystery. But Ada hesitated, emotions warring. Expose him and ruin his peace, or protect the man whose life echoed her own losses? As weeks turned to months, Ada's investigation deepened. She uncovered documents through discreet sources at the Corporate Affairs Commission, showing trusts linked to Aziz associates but never him. One trust owned the gleaming Unity Tower in Central Business District, another the vast Eagle Farms in Nasarawa State. Ezzy's fortune, estimated at over $5 billion, came from oil, real estate, tech startups, even cryptocurrency mines in hidden servers. But the emotional core, Ezzy's daughter Ifeoma, now a doctor in the UK, returned home unexpectedly. She confronted her father. Dad, why hide? Mom would want us to live openly. Tears flowed in a dramatic scene under the family mango tree, Eze revealing his fear. A past rival, Chief Okoro, had once tried to seize his assets, leading to Kioma's stress-induced illness. I hide to protect you all, he sobbed, his voice raw. Ada, shadowing them, witnessed this. Her heart broke. It was entertaining in its soap opera twists, realistic in family dynamics common in Nigerian households where wealth bred paranoia. She befriended Ife Oma, sharing her own story of loss, forging a bond that added layers of friendship and potential romance with Kelechi, who softened toward her. Subplot Tunde, the mentee, faced temptation from Chief Okoro's camp, offering him riches to betray Eze. Tunde's internal struggle was emotional, loyalty versus poverty's grip. Ada wrote drafts, but doubt crept in. Was exposing Eze right? The drama escalated when a leak hinted at her story, sending assassins after her, a realistic threat in Nigeria's cutthroat business world. CTA time, loving this roller coaster of secrets and emotions. Subscribe for more folk tales that blend tradition with modern twists. And comment, where are you following from? Share your location to join the community. The plot thickened as Chief Okoro, a rotund businessman with a mustache like a villain from old Nollywood films, entered the fray. Okoro, Eze's old rival from Enugu days, had built his own empire on corruption, bribes to officials, land grabs. He learned of Ida's digging and saw opportunity, exposed Eze to claim his assets. In a dramatic boardroom scene at Okoro's mansion in Asokoro, he plotted with henchmen. That ghost billionaire thinks he's safe. We'll drag him into the light. Okoro's motivation was personal. Ez had once outbid him on a lucrative oil block, anonymously, costing Okoro millions and his marriage. Ada, meanwhile, met Eze secretly at a quiet park in Jabe Lake. Why me? She asked, tears welling. Eze smiled sadly. Because you're like I was, hungry for truth, but with a heart. Their conversation was entertaining, laced with proverbs. The rat that gnaws at the king's yam does so in darkness, but light reveals all. Emotion peaked when Kelechi confessed his feelings for Ada amidst a rainstorm, kissing her under sheltering trees. Don't hurt my father, he pleaded. Realistic romance in a high-stakes world. Tunde chose loyalty, warning Eze of Okoro's plans. But the storm broke. Hackers, hired by Okoro, leaked partial docs, sparking media frenzy. Eze's anonymity cracked, leading to public chaos. To flesh this out, let's describe Abuja's vibrancy, the aroma of suya from street vendors, the honk of danfos, the contrast of poverty and wealth. Eze's inner monologue filled pages, regrets, joys, the weight of billions unseen. Betrayal hit hard. One of Eze's trusted proxies, a lawyer named Bola Johnson, sold out to Okoro for a fat payoff. Bola, once a friend from university, revealed key trust details, leading to lawsuits claiming Eze's properties. Eze's family rallied. Ifeoma used her medical connections to protect him. Kelechi fought in court. Ada Thorn published a teaser article, not exposing fully, but hinting at the invisible titan. It went viral, entertaining readers with speculation. Emotional scene. Eze alone in his bungalow, staring at Kioma's photo. My love, is this the end? Tears streamed, dramatic as thunder clapped outside. Entertaining twist. Tunde, proving his worth, hacked back, ethically, with code, to counter Okoro's attacks using skills Eze funded. Realistic? In Nigeria's tech boom, young geniuses like Tunde abounded. Alliances formed. Ada teamed with the honest cop, Inspector Musa, to investigate Okoro's crimes. Drama ensued in chases through Abuja's markets, guns drawn, hearts racing, subplots expanded. Ifeoma's own secret, a hidden illness, added emotion. Kelechi and Ada's relationship blossomed, with steamy yet tasteful moments. At the story's midpoint, Eze revealed his core secret to Ada. His wealth stemmed from a discovered artifact, an ancient Igbo relic said to bring prosperity but curse visibility. Folktale element, legends told of a king who hid his crown lest enemies steal it. Dramatic revelation in a hidden vault under Eagle Farms. Gold stocks, art worth billions. This is not mine, as he said emotionally. It's for Nigeria's future. Schools, hospitals, all anonymous. Okoro attacked the farm, leading to a firefight. Tunde saved the day but was wounded, evoking tears from all. Entertaining folklore interludes. Eze shared stories of Anansi-like figures paralleling his life. Realistic economics. Discussions on Nigeria's oil dependency. How Eze diversified into renewables. CTA alert. Eze's Hidden World has you hooked. Subscribe today for exclusive story updates. Where are you reading from? Drop your city in the comments. Let's see how far this tale travels. Courtrooms became battlegrounds. Kelechi argued brilliantly, exposing Okoro's frauds. Ada testified, her voice shaking with emotion. Eze is a hero, not a villain. Public opinion swung. Protests in Abuja streets, chanting, "Free the ghost billionaire." Entertaining media circus with TV debates and social media storms. Personal trials. Eze's health faltered from stress. Ifeoma nursing him. Tunde recovered, becoming family. Dramatic climax build. Okoro kidnapped Ada, demanding Eze's surrender. Rescue scene in an abandoned warehouse. Guns, fists, heartfelt pleas. Eze confronted Okoro personally. Brother, why this hate? Revealed they were half brothers from the same father. Emotional bombshell. Tears, forgiveness attempted. Ada escaped, reuniting with Kelechi. Their love story peaked in a proposal amid chaos. Folk element. A shaman's vision foretold peace if secrecy ended partially. Realistic resolution hints. Eze donated publicly but kept core anonymity. Allies multiplied. Politicians, celebrities joined Eze's cause. Okoro arrested, his empire crumbling. Eze's family healed, with weddings and births on horizon. Entertaining subplots. Tunde starts his own anonymous charity. Eze mentored Ada, teaching invisibility's wisdom. She wrote the book but fictionalized. Dramatic family reunion, emotions high. Subscribe now to never miss a beat of these epic tales. Where's your spot? Tell us in comments. Okoro's trial ended in justice. Eze emerged partially, founding a foundation in Kioma's name. Ada and Kelechi married, blending lives. Folktale close, Eze as eternal legend. Months after Okoro's arrest, the dust refused to settle in Abuja. The city post with a new rhythm, whispers about the ghost billionaire, had transformed from suspicion into something closer to reverence. Newspapers that once hunted Eze now published thoughtful editorials praising anonymous philanthropy. Social media buzzed with Invisible Titan hashtags, young people creating memes of Eze as a modern day folk hero. blending him with ancient Igbo legends of the wise king who ruled from the shadows. Eze, however, remained unchanged. He still woke before dawn in his Gaki bungalow. The only difference was the quiet presence of Ifeoma, who had decided to stay in Nigeria for a while, working at a public hospital in Kubwa while keeping an eye on her father. Her own health scare, a mild cardiac arrhythmia discovered during the routine checks, had softened her once fiery stance on openness. One humid evening in late January 2026, Eze sat on the veranda with a cup of bush tea, staring at the mango tree that had witnessed so many family tears. Ifeoma joined him, placing a hand on his shoulder. Daddy, have you spoken to Uncle Okoro since the sentencing? Eze sighed, the sound heavy with years. He wrote me a letter from Kirikiri, begged for forgiveness, said he never knew we shed blood until the trial. Ifeoma's eyes widened. And? I haven't replied yet. His voice cracked slightly. Some wounds need time, daughter. Even brothers can become strangers when money enters the conversation. The next day, Ada arrived with Kelechi. Their engagement ring, a simple gold band with a tiny emerald, caught the sunlight. They had postponed the wedding, wanting to wait until the legal storms truly passed. Kelechi knelt before his father. Dad, I know you fear what publicity will bring, but look at us. We're stronger together. Let us help carry this burden. Eze looked at his son, then at Ada, whose eyes held no judgment, only quiet understanding. For the first time in decades, he felt the possibility of release, not from wealth, but from isolation. That night, he penned a reply to Okoro. The letter was short. Brother, the ancestors say that even the bitter cola can sweeten with time. I forgive you. May peace find you behind those walls. Eze. He sealed it without fanfare and asked Tunde to deliver it anonymously. The young man, now fully recovered and running a small coding academy funded by one of Easy's trusts, nodded solemnly. Meanwhile, Ada was working on her book, Shadows of Abundance, a modern Nigerian folk tale. She refused to name Eze directly, respecting his wishes, but wove his life into a powerful narrative that mixed journalism with oral tradition. Publishers in Lagos and London were already circling. As the Harmattan winds began to blow, carrying red dust across the city, Eze decided to take a small step towards visibility. He agreed to meet with a select group of orphans he had supported for years, quietly, at Eagle Farms. No cameras, no press release. Just a man meeting children he had helped raise from afar. The scene was emotional beyond words. A girl named Amara, now 16 and studying engineering, ran into his arms crying. Uncle Eze, we always knew it was you. Thank you for believing in us when no one else did. Eze wept openly that day, the first time many had seen him cry since Kioma's funeral. The children surrounded him, singing old Igbo lullabies, their voices rising like a balm over the vast fields. Not all shadows were benevolent. Chief Okoro's foe had created a vacuum, and lesser vultures began circling. A consortium of foreign investors, fronted by a slick Lebanese Nigerian businessman named Karim Haddad, quietly began buying up distressed assets linked to Okoro's former empire. Their real target, the anonymous trust they suspected belonged to Eze. Karim was charming, ruthless, and patient. He hosted lavish dinners at his penthouse in Maitama, inviting politicians, EFCC officials, and even some of Eze's old proxies who had grown greedy. One such proxy was Emeka Nwosu, a former manager of Eagle Farms who had quietly skimming funds for years. When Tunde discovered discrepancies in the accounts, Emeka panicked and reached out to Karim. I can give you names, Emeka whispered over a burner phone, but I want protection and money, a lot of it. Karim smiled. Tell me everything, my friend. We shall make history together. Ida caught wind of the new threat through Inspector Musa, who had become an unofficial ally. Late one night, the three of them, Inspector Musa, Kelechi, and Ada, met in a small buka in Wuse Market, eating pepper soup under dim fluorescent lights. These people are dangerous, Musa warned. They have international backing. Interpol is watching, but slowly. Kelechi clenched his fist. We need to warn Dad. But Eze was already one step ahead. Through his quiet network, he had learned of Karim's moves. Instead of confrontation, he chose a different path, the path of the folk hero who outwits rather than fights. He invited Karim to Eagle Farms under the pretense of a potential land deal. The meeting was set for a Saturday morning when the sun would be gentle and the fields golden. Karim arrived in a convoy of black SUVs, stepping out in a pristine white agbada. Eze waited alone on the porch of the farm manager's house, dressed in his usual simple attire. Mr. Chukwu, Karim began smoothly, or should I say, the invisible titan himself. Eze smiled faintly. Names are dangerous things, Mr. Haddad. Please, sit. Let us talk like men of the soil. They spoke for hours. Eze told stories of the land, how it had fed generations, how it remembered every betrayal. He spoke of Kioma, of loss, of the weight of secrets. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, Karim's polished mask cracked. He confessed his own father's ruin during the Lebanese civil war, his hunger for security through wealth. By sunset, no deal was signed, but something shifted. Karim left with a promise. I will not pursue your shadows anymore, but no, this someone else will come. Always. Eze watched the convoy disappear down the dusty road, then turned to the fields and whispered, Thank you, Kioma, for reminding me who I am. Word of Eze's quiet influence began to spread in unexpected ways. Teachers in rural schools received surprise salary bonuses. Clinics in underserved areas suddenly had new equipment. Young entrepreneurs received microgrants without paperwork. None of it was traced back to Eze, but the people knew. Tunde's coding academy flourished, producing graduates who built apps for farmers, health workers, and small businesses. One of his students, a girl named Zainab from Kano, created an anonymous donation platform inspired by Eze's philosophy. It allowed people to give without seeking recognition. Within months, it processed millions in small donations across West Africa. Ada's book neared completion. She included chapters on Nigerian proverbs, weaving them into Eze's story. The river that forgets its source will dry up. The child who is carried on the back does not know how far the journey is. She cried while writing the final chapter, realizing how deeply Eze had changed her. From a hungry journalist seeking fame, she had become someone who valued impact over bylines. One evening, the family gathered under the mango tree again. Eze spoke softly. I have decided something. I will create a foundation publicly, but I will not be the face. Ifeoma, Kelechi, Ada, Tunde, you will lead it. Call it Kioma's Light. Use it for education, health, youth empowerment. My name stays in the shadows. Tears flowed freely. Kelechi hugged his father tightly. Thank you, Dad, for trusting us. The announcement was understated, a small press release, no photos of Eze, yet it made global headlines. The Guardian called it the most elegant billionaire exit in modern history. Al Jazeera interviewed anonymous beneficiaries who spoke of a man who gave without wanting thanks. Ada and Kelechi's wedding was simple yet profound. Held at a small church in Garki, with reception in the family compound, it was attended by family, close friends, Inspector Musa, Tunde, and a handful of the orphans Eze had supported. No dignitaries, no celebrities. Ada wore a cream lace gown with subtle Ankara accents. Kelechi looked dashing in a navy suit. Eze walked her down the aisle, tears streaming down his face as he gave her away to his son. During the vows, Kelechi said, I promise to love you in light and in shadow, just as my father taught me that true strength needs no spotlight. Ada responded, I promise to stand beside you, to protect your heart as fiercely as I once sought to expose hidden truths. The reception featured jollof rice, pounded yam, and plenty of palm wine. Children danced under string lights. Ezzy sat quietly, watching his family with a peace he hadn't known in decades. Later, as stars blanketed the Abuja sky, Eze slipped away to the mango tree. He placed a small framed photo of Kioma at its base and whispered, Our children are happy, my love, and I'm finally free. Years began to slip by like harmattan dust. The Keoma's Light Foundation grew into one of West Africa's most respected NGOs. Ifeoma became its medical director, establishing mobile clinics. Tunde headed the tech division, building digital infrastructure for rural communities. Ada served as communications lead, telling stories of impact without sensationalism. Esse, now in his late 60s, spent his days mentoring young people at the foundation. He never sought credit. When journalists asked for interviews, he politely declined. The work speaks for itself, he would say. One afternoon, a young boy from the orphanage, now a university student, approached Isa. Sir, they say you are the invisible titan. Is it true? Ezzy smiled. Boy, titles are heavy. Just call me Uncle Ez and remember the greatest riches are the ones you give away without anyone knowing. The boy nodded solemnly, carrying the lesson into his future. In the year 2032, Ezechukwu passed quietly in his sleep under the same mango tree that had witnessed so much joy and sorrow. No grand state funeral, just family, friends, and hundreds of beneficiaries who came to pay respects in silence. His will was simple. The remaining private fortune went to Kioma's Light. His bungalow was turned into a community library. His name appeared nowhere on the documents. At a graveside, Ada, now a mother of two, read from her book. He was the billionaire nobody knew, because his name was never attached to what he owned. But his heart was attached to everyone he helped, and in that way he became eternal. Kelechi placed a hand on his wife's shoulder. Ifeoma wiped tears. Tunde stood tall, carrying the torch forward. The wind rustled the mango leaves, as if Kioma herself was nodding in approval. Decades later, in 2050, a new 50, a generation of Nigerians told stories around firesides and in digital forums about the invisible titan, a folk legend who proved that true power lies not in being seen, but in what you do when no one is watching. Children still sang songs about him. Scholars studied his model of anonymous impact. And somewhere in the quiet corners of Abuja, people still whispered, there was once a man who owned everything and nothing, and in owning nothing, he gave everything. And the mango tree at the old bungalow continued to bear fruit, season after season, a living monument to a life lived in shadow for the light of others. Hey, reader, if this long journey through shadows, love, forgiveness, and legacy has touched you, please subscribe for more epic tales that blend modern Nigeria with timeless wisdom. And drop a comment. Where are you reading from in 2026? Let's keep the conversation alive across continents.